Let's explore this eightfold meditation technique that could change your life. This evening's lesson is drawn from the meditation manual I'm currently writing, Easy Enlightenment. Let's begin with a bit of the old review. Every time we inhale, we are wired to notice sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like. We are also wired to notice emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. But what are we to do with that which we notice? And that, of course, brings us to meditation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, whether we feel it or not, whether we intend to or not, we're wired to access our parasympathetic nervous system, ensconced within both the lower lumbar region of our spinal cord, as well as the tippy top of our cervical region. It is evolved for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel less graspable. We could find ourselves resisting it even a little bit less. Now, since complex life forms on this planet evolved to think symbolically, let us sprinkle some figurative language upon this. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast, empty void. Now, any good English teacher will remind us that a simile is only as useful as it is relatable. Therefore, we must ask the question, what is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast, empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, is intangible to the hand? Perhaps that is why the two members of this meditational archetype are depicted as being translucent and as non-graspable as a rainbow. I do look forward to chanting and meditating with you this evening after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent about 8 hours a day, every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each sect of Buddhism so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. This evening, let's play with Green Heroine's Easy Meditation. Known in Sanskrit as Shamatara, in Tibetan as Droljang, and in English as Green Heroine. The rigid and superstitious view her as an entity worthy of worship and supplication. However, those who have the good fortune to train in the path of being flexible and laid back simply view her as an archetype, whose iconography reminds us that we are already wired for love, kindness, mindfulness, and meditation. So, this practice is a lot like cooking pancakes. There's a whole lot of flipping and flopping going on, only this time we're flipping and flopping between mantra meditation in silent meditation. So let's chant the Dharani explaining this mantra's meaning. The italicized bits are where I've made adaptation. The parenthetical bits are where I've added amplification. I do this not for self-importance, but to help you to have the most meaningful experience possible. Together. O Mama Chedada, swift and courageous, you drive away all fears with Tutate's meditation. Heroine fulfilling all ends with Turi's mindfulness, thus with a suitable Soha may it be so. Let us play with this evening's first exercise of bliss and letting go, described in Tibet as Lama Kieno, or in English as calling the teacher as from afar. What is the key to transforming mindless mantra recitation into spiritually protective mantra meditation? It's twofold. Number one, this is I want to see if I can improve this image. Please bear with me. Let's see, I'm looking for... Yes, this is the one I'm looking for. Excellent. So during the inhalation, we could silently, mentally, and passively recite this italicized bit. During our exhalation, we can physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath. So the green figure reminds us of our own enlightened potential. The red figure literally reminds us of sensations of bliss and figuratively remind us of the teachings. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. We begin this evening's silent meditation journey with mindfulness. Every time we breathe in, whether we know it or not, we access our sympathetic nervous system. Ensconced within the thoracic region of our spinal cord, it is not evolved to support either extreme of mind blanking or active concentration. Instead, it is evolved to simply perceive, and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. In fact, it could be argued that vulnerability is the key that opens the vault door of mindfulness. Perhaps that is why both members of this meditational archetype are depicted as naked, the ultimate vulnerability. Well, you might ask, if we're not supposed to actively concentrate upon our breath, then what do we do with our breath? We treat our breath the way a piano student treats their metronome. When we notice our body breathing in, we can silently and mentally recite these 12 syllables, perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. And when we notice our body exhaling, we could silently and mentally recite an additional 12 syllables, relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. I'm going to do this for about 16 rounds, but I breathe a lot faster than you because I'm doing all this talking. You might only do it for 12 rounds or even 8 rounds. I'm going to advance my left thumb during the inhalation. Let us exercise the vulnerability and downright courage to notice others' stress, thus sowing the seeds of greater empathy. Om Dare Nare Suwa, Om Dare Nare Suwa, Om Dare Nare Suwa, Om Dare Nare Suwa. Let us view interdependence not as a specter to punish us, but a tool through which our love could lighten others' loads. Om Dare Nare Suwa, Om Dare Nare Suwa, Om Dare Nare Suwa, Om Dare Nare Suwa. Let us not view change and permanence or death the way a child views a monster in his dreams, but as a tool through which we can let go of grasping with greater ease. For with the changing of the seasons, we see the impermanence of a year. With the waxing and the waning of the moon, we see the impermanence of a month. With the rising and the setting of the sun, we see the impermanence of a day. With the swelling and the sinking of our chest, we feel the impermanence of a breath. Ever changing, one and all, there is nothing permanent to grasp. Om Dare Nare Suwa, Om Dare Nare Suwa, Om Dare Nare Suwa, Om Dare Nare Suwa. Let us refrain from shooting all over ourselves in an effort to make the most of what meditation opportunities, the precious meditation opportunities that our life might afford us. Rather, may our choices, utterances, and deeds flow from the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity that is generated by our practice of awareness and letting go. Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa, Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa, Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa, Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa. Having chanted this 10-syllable mantra 16 times, let us prepare for to explore the first of two fringe benefits of mindfulness and meditation. Oh, I got ahead of myself. I apologize for that. During our inhalation, let us silently and mentally recite sitting tall, thus reminding our body to generate a vertical traction between our tush and our head. And during our exhalation, let's silently and mentally recite the 3-syllable verb, relaxing. We turn now to the interstitial preliminary practices inspired by the final meditation manual dictated by the late Dzogchen Rinpoche. Let us lovingly wish to free all beings everywhere from the toxic tyranny of forever hating, craving, and clinging. Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa, Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa, Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa, Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa. Pragmatically, the only way we can really master the Buddha's path sufficiently to benefit others is if we rely upon the real or imagined Buddha's example and instructions and students, which are metaphorically known as the 3 wish-fulfilling jewels. Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa, Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa, Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa, Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa. There's nothing quite as efficient as defensiveness if what we really want to do is squander our time, energy, and relationships. How much wiser could it be instead to enthusiastically learn from all our numerous mistakes? Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa, Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa, Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa, Om Dhanu Nanu Nuri Sawa. Ah, yes, a bit of the old cut and paste, eh, kids? Death is an inevitability. We can pretend it's never going to happen. We can live in fear of it. Or, like a very smart person, we can prepare for it. And so what we could do is rehearse letting go of whatever anxiety or discomfort we feel at our passing. An efficient way to do that is to rehearse coalescing our central channels, our subtle energies in our central channel at our heart, and then shooting that mind like an arrow up the central channel, out our crown, into the heart of our teacher, which is ultimately the mastery of awareness and letting go, also known as the vast expanse. From that mastery, we can turn and see the cadaver we've left behind, as well as all our possessions. And being reminded of the futility of a lifetime of grasping. As a final act of love, we can wish that all beings everywhere enjoy all our stuff. Om Dhane Nane Nure Sowa, Om Dhane Nane Nure Sowa, Om Dhane Nane Nure Sowa, Om Dhane Nane Nure Sowa. Let us review the first of two fringe benefits of the regular practice of mindfulness and meditation. We'll start with bad news. Whenever we rely on active concentration and active contemplation, our blood collects at the amygdala, the bottom of our limbic system, which functions as the seat of aggression and anxiety. Fortunately, when we replace active concentration with passive awareness, when we replace active contemplation with passive meditation, our blood shifts to our anterior cingulate gyrus, a hunk of meat about 3 centimeters or so behind our forehead, which functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy. Perhaps this is why the Dzogchen Lamas agree that the highest love is spontaneous and uncontrived. Perhaps this is also why the members of this archetype of meditation are always depicted as beautiful. Having chanted the mantra 16 times during our inhalation, let us kick back and watch the antics of mind as silently and mentally we recite and notice this. Similarly, during our exhalation, let us relax into mind's non-graspable nature. As silently and mentally we recite relaxing. Now let us practice this evening's third exercise of bliss and letting go, with a technique known in Sanskrit as Guru Yoga and in Tibetan as Lama Naljor. Well, that's weird. Okay, let's go back and do the old adjustment. Om Dare Nane Nune Sowa, Om Dare Nane Nune Sowa, Om Dare Nane Nune Sowa, Om Dare Nane Nune Sowa. Om Dare Nane Nune Sowa, Om Dare Nane Nune Sowa, Om Oops Dare Nane Nune Sowa, Om Dare Nane Nune Sowa. Om Dane Nane Nune Sowa, Om Dane Nane Nune Sowa, Om Dane Nane Nune Sowa, Om Dane Nane Nune Sowa. Om Dane Nane Nune Sowa, Om Dane Nane Nune Sowa, Om Dane Nane Nune Sowa, Om Dane Nane Nune Sowa. Let us explore the second fringe benefit of a regular practice of mindfulness and meditation. Consider, if you will, this gal the color of a cumulus cloud. Notice how actively she seems to delight in tantric union. This reminds us that contrivance is always trumped by spontaneity. Now consider the passive manner in which our partner appears to be enjoying or savoring the same tantric union. This reminds us that not all spontaneity is created equal, and that the scattered spontaneity we might experience after our third consecutive espresso will always be trumped by the centered spontaneity that is the fruit of mindfulness and meditation. In fact, when our choices, utterances, and deeds flow from the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity that generated by mindfulness and meditation, our life can feel as if it was as blissful as the real or imagined Pure Land, Paradise, or Pure Land or Avati depicted in Buddhist painting. During our inhalation, let's kick back and watch the antics of mind as silently and mentally we recite the demonstrative pronoun this. Similarly, during our exhalation, let us relax into mind's non-graspable nature as silently and mentally we recite the one-syllable verb ease. Having climbed to contemplative cruising altitude, together as a team, let us meditate as profoundly as Qui-Gon Jinn on Naboo. Let us bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness into the conventional path of love and letting go, where it is love that is emphasized and where it is jealousy that is leapt over. During the next 8 exercises, the italicized bits we're going to play with is going to be highly figurative. Let's see here. Let's hit Ariel, not the cartoon character. Let's not abuse a cartoon character. They don't like that. That's frowned upon in polite society. Our job right now is not to actively visualize or emote or believe or try very hard to practice magic. Instead, we're going to play with words and breath and allow them to stimulate the neural pathways that are responsible for empathy. Let us lovingly wish that each mind, that each mind of each being was now mastered the enlightened wisdom of a Buddha, symbolized by a one-syllable mantra. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Let us lovingly wish that each being's experience of the interpersonal, whose metaphor is communication or speech, was now as loving as a real or imagined Buddha's communication, symbolized by mantra. Om Dare 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 Suwa, Om Dare 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 Suwa, Om Dare 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 Suwa, Om Dare 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 Suwa. Let us lovingly wish that each being's body or form was now as healthy as the archetypes of enlightenment or yadams we see depicted in Buddhist statuary. Om Dare 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 Suwa, Om Dare 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 Suwa, Om Dare 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 Suwa, Om Dare 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 Suwa. May each being's circumstance or lot now be as fortunate as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise or pure land or Vati depicted in Buddhist paintings. Om Dare 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 Suwa, Om Dare 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 Suwa, Om Dare 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 Suwa, Om Dare 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 Suwa. That is view letting go through a physiological lens as we bring the experience of the 4 bases of mindfulness into the ultimate path of love and letting go, where it is letting go that is emphasized and it is pride that is leapt over. Now I'm going to do a quick cut and paste. So do bear with me. Now I'm pretty sure that the screen just went berserk. Okay, so please bear with me. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, okay. Well, never mind. That was lame. Okay. As we take 2. As we breathe in, clearly we can observe mind's tendencies to perceive, emote, intend, reason, recall, and imagine. And yet, as we relax into the recitation of this 10-syllable mantra, the minds of all beings everywhere could begin to feel as if they were as non-graspable as a real or imagined syllable. That is odd. Om Dare Nuna Nurizwa Om Dare Nuna Nurizwa Om Dare Nuna Nurizwa Om Dare Nuna Nurizwa. As we breathe in, our relationships and other people's relationships can seem downright resounding. And yet, as we relax into the recitation of this 10-syllable mantra, all relationships of all beings could begin to feel as if they were as non-graspable as a real or imagined mantra comprised only of light. Om Dare Nuna Nurizwa Om Dare Nuna Nurizwa Om Dare Nuna Nurizwa Om Dare Nuna Nurizwa. Excuse me. As we breathe in, each body of each being could seem rather sensual. And yet, as we relax into the recitation of this 10-syllable mantra, each body of each being could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a Buddha's real or imagined archetype or yadam, comprised only of light. Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa. As we breathe in, each circumstance of each being could seem apparent, easily seen, obvious even. And yet as we relax into the recitation of this mantra, each circumstance could begin to feel as if it was as a non-graspable as a real or imagined Buddha's paradise or vati, comprised only of light. Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa. Let us view letting go through a philosophical lens as we bring the illusion of the horizontal duality of us and them into the dance of impermanence and interdependence known as Madhyamaka's yoga of inconceivability. As we relax into the recitation of the mantra, the circumstance, each circumstance of each being could seem to be as impermanent as if it could blissfully melt into a rainbow light that could melt into our bodies. Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa. As we relax into the recitation of this 10-syllable mantra, each being's experience of the physical could feel as impermanent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow lights that could interdependently absorb into our sense of the interpersonal. Or if you like, our very recitation of mantra. Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa, Om Tare Nare Nure Sawa. As we relax into the recitation of this 10-syllable mantra, each being's experience of the interpersonal could seem so impermanent that could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could interdependently absorb into our awareness. Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa, Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa, Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa, Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa. As we relax into the recitation of this 10-syllable mantra, each being's experience of awareness could begin to feel as if it was as impermanent as if it could melt into blissfully melt into rainbow light that interdependently absorbed into infinite openness. Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa, Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa, Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa, Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa. Let us bring the 5 body regions into the path of bliss and letting go. As we relax, let's try this again. As we relax into the recitation of this 10-syllable mantra, whatever lower abdomen sensation we might have experienced during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa, Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa, Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa, Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa. As we relax into the recitation of this 10-syllable mantra, whatever experience of our navel we might have perceived during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa, Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa, Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa, Om Tadenu Nanenu Nisawa. As we relax into the recitation of this 10-syllable mantra, Whatever chest we might have experienced during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Dane Nane Nurizawa, Om Dane Nane Nurizawa, Om Dane Nane Nurizawa, Om Dane Nane Nurizawa. As we relax into the recitation of this 10-syllable mantra, whatever throat we might have noticed during our previous inhalation would begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Dane Nane Nurizawa, Om Dane Nane Nurizawa, Om Dane Nane Nurizawa, Om Dane Nane Nurizawa. As we relax into the recitation of this 10-syllable mantra, whatever crown or scalp or top of head we might have experienced during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Om Dane Nane Nurizawa, Om Dane Nane Nurizawa, Om Dane Nane Nurizawa, Om Dane Nane Nurizawa. Let us transcend the illusion of samsara nirvana's vertical duality by metaphorically inviting all the real or imagined Buddhas, their paradises, and their denizens to dwell in the 84,000 pores of our skin, thus practicing the body mandala of duality's awareness and non-duality's release. Om Dane Nane Nurizawa, 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 Om Dane Nane Nurizawa. Om Dani Nani 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 Nurizawa. Let us bring the spontaneous play of mind into the path of awareness and letting go. During our inhalation, let us silently and mentally recite, relaxing into this. In 1989, Faith No More produced the song Epic, or released the song Epic. A silly line from that song is, "What is this? What is this?" This is whatever we notice during our exhalation. This is whatever we notice during our inhalation. This is whatever we notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. This is whatever we notice, whether that which we notice is external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. Om Dani Nani Nurizawa. 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 Om Dare Nare Nuri Soa. 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 Om Om Dare Nare Nurizawa 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 Om Dare Nare Nurizawa. Om Dare Nare Nurizawa 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 Om Dare Nare Nurizawa. That was fun. Let us seal this evening's practice with a love that wishes for universal enlightenment and well-being. May all minds of all beings lucid yet void no be as wise as a Buddha's mind symbolized by a one May all speech of all beings resounding yet void no be as loving as a Buddha's speech symbolized by a multi-syllable mantra. May all forms of all beings sensual yet void no be as healthy as a yidam depicted in Buddha's statuary. May all lots of all beings appearing yet void no be as fortunate as a pure land of law depicted in Buddha's paintings. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.